Jesse, it's simple. You either confirm that you and Noelle are dating, or if you're not and have no intention of ever doing it, stop clickbaiting it in every single video that features her. I swear to God! What is going on, guys? Not Dead Yet here, back on the casting couch and ready to come at you with another video. Today we will be reacting to Jesse James West's video where he eats and trains like Eddie Hall, and he actually does a little bit of boxing training in this video because Eddie Hall's training for his upcoming match with Hafthor Bjornsson, so that'll be really interesting. I haven't seen all of this video. I've only seen up to the part where he starts the boxing training, and then I stopped because I really wanted to save my first initial reaction for this video so you guys kind of get like a pure initial reaction from me. I have, however, seen Jesse do a little bit of fighting and boxing stuff from his videos in the past, and to be quite honest, I wasn't really that impressed, but that's okay, because you know what, he might actually have gotten better. He does have a trainer, so we'll get to kind of a little bit of a look as to what him and his trainer do, and you know, I can give my thoughts on how I would have trained him differently if I was his trainer, and what I would do if Jesse James West came to me and said, hey, I want to learn how to box, can you teach me how to box? So that should be a lot of fun. I'm excited to watch it, and without further ado, let's get into this video.
My friends, it might be a rainy day, but that does not mean we're going to stop the work here. We're going to go head over to Miller Brothers MMA and do a little boxing training because our boy Eddie Hall is now a professional boxer. So maybe...
Actually, to my knowledge, he isn't. As far as I know, he is still an amateur, and well, I guess it depends on what you define pro. I'm not sure Eddie Hall actually has his pro boxing license, but he is getting paid to do it. So if you define pro as someone who gets paid to do it, then yeah, I guess Eddie Hall's a pro. Otherwise, I'm pretty sure they're still focused on amateur rules. As far as I know, the gloves are still going to be 12-ounce gloves instead of 6-ounce gloves, which is what pros fights at. And I'm pretty sure they're still going to be wearing headgear. I'm not entirely sure. If anyone wants to fact check me or let me know in the comments below, feel free. But yeah, that's like the main difference between pro and amateur is the gloves are a lot lighter. Half the ounces, actually, 6 ounces versus 12 ounces. And obviously no headgear, so depends on what you define as pro. If you define pro as, you know, no headgear, 6-ounce gloves, and a pro license, then I'm pretty sure Eddie Hall isn't a pro, neither is Hafthor. But if you define pro as they're getting paid for it, that's what professional is, you get paid, then yeah, they're a pro.
Okay, next question. Shane.Moore05. Will the boxing fight be pro or amateur? You know what? I don't even know what the difference is. What makes you a pro? Do you have to have several fights and get a card? Or do you have to have a license? Do you have to work your way up through the ranks? I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a boxing expert. I love watching boxing. I respect the sport of boxing. And I suppose... that's the key word here, respect. You know, whatever this fight is, I'm going to respect it. I'm going to respect the sport of boxing. And I think the promoter's going to respect the sport of boxing as well. You know, it's going to be, no doubt, 3-minute rounds. How many we do not know. No headgear, 10-ounce gloves, I believe. So, I don't know. I mean, end of the day, this is my sort of full-time job now. And the same goes for sport. So I suppose, you know, what defines a pro? A pro to me is someone that does something for a living. And this has now become my living. But I would not call myself a professional boxer by any means necessary. No way am I a professional boxer. So I guess to answer your question, it's an amateur fight in a professional setting. That's probably the best way to say it. So it's gonna be a good duke, that's for sure.
level and get after it. Let's get over there. All right, we are here at Miller Brothers MMA with my man Joe. Get in the shot, baby. Listen, he was here for the Conor McGregor. Now he's here for Eddie Hall. He's gonna put me through the ropes. We're gonna do some drills, some boxing drills that Eddie Hall would probably do, and then we're gonna hit the heavy bag. Maybe he'll kick my ass one more time. We'll see though. Do it. I don't know if you guys are ready, but I have the fastest hands on the fitness industry YouTube. No, I don't. There's definitely a lot of people that can kick my ass.
Right here.
I'll try.
Left, right. Nice.
That is a good message. I want to point that out. That is a good message. Is good at boxing when they first start. Nobody. I don't care if you have supreme genetic. There are some people that take to it faster than others, like Ethan Harold. I've been training Ethan Harold for about a week and a half now, and his growth has been incredible. He has gotten way better, way quicker than I thought he would. But I'm not really going to spoil anything more. I'm going to save that for the video he makes on his channel about his boxing journey. But while we are on the topic of Ethan Harold, there is something I want to say to him directly. So Ethan, I hope you're watching this. I know you're watching this. I'm going to send you this. You'll probably be the first one to watch this. You're my only subscriber aside from myself. So Ethan, this is a little lesson about intimidation and mind games in boxing. So I want you to look me in the eyes while I do this. Okay? Look at me. You see this? Yeah? Yeah? Yeah. Right. I really should have gotten a drink, but I didn't. I did that. End pieces. Standing from the outside. I did it. Really dry. Really dry. Sticking to the roof of my mouth a little bit. Oh. No sweat. No, see, I'm taking another bite. Alright. Alright, Ethan. I did it. I said I'd do it. No, I did. You said you might too? Your turn. I'll be waiting. And I am back. Okay, so, that was a bit rough, not gonna lie. No sweat. I needed to go get a virgin gin and tonic to help that go down, but I did, and I'm fine now, so we're good. Also, I'd just like to preface this by saying that the video may stutter a bit. I'm not entirely sure. The audio and video capture that I use might be a little shoddy, so we'll see how things go. I'm looking to upgrade, but, you know, it might not just decide to shit the bed. So if that happens, I'm sorry. I'll do my best to recover it or reshoot it, but sometimes I might just leave a take in and, you know, do my best to cover it up, whatever. That's on my end. Anyway, back to the message and Jesse James West. That's a good message to have. There's always going to be someone better than you. It's important to keep going anyway. I find that boxing has a lot of big egos because it's a sport that requires it. You need to be confident in yourself. However, boxing can be a sport that really humbles you too, because there is always a bigger fish. There is never someone who is the supreme best, decidedly. Not Muhammad Ali. Nope. Not Floyd Mayweather. Nope. Not Deontay Wilder. Nope. Not the Gypsy King Tyson Fury, or the Hitman Hearns, or even Sugar Ray Robinson, one of the best boxers of all time. Nope. Not even the undefeated champion Rocky Marciano. There's always someone who, if they cannot beat you, they are at your level and can match you, and maybe you just got lucky and won the fight on that particular day, right? Things like how you feel and how you're training and everything plays into how the outcome of a fight, and there is no decidedly 100% strongest, best fighter ever. There is always someone better, at least at your level, or better than you in boxing. So being bad or not being very good at it is good. It's fine. Don't get discouraged. In fact, use that as fuel to keep growing. In fact, I am a good fighter. I am one of the best fighters in my country, and there are still lots of people that can either match me blow for blow or just straight up beat the shit out of me, and that's fine. That's good. I want that because that just means that I can keep going. I can only go up, right? As it gives me something to shoot for, something to train for. Don't let being bad at something discourage you from doing it. That's a good message, and I don't know if Jesse James West meant for that to be his message, or if that was like, or if I'm reading way too far into a throwaway joke that he made, where it's like, yeah, I'm not that great, but you know, I'm gonna do it anyway. That is a very good message, and that encompasses a lot of what I encourage when people start boxing. So kudos to you, Jesse. Back to the video, though. Hand pads now. This will be fun. His hands are by his chest. I can barely see him, but his hands are at his chest. That is a terrible, terrible thing to do. I don't know if you've watched my You Can't Punch Yet video. If not, please check it out. It's a prelude to a series that I want to do where I teach you the basics of boxing, and it teaches you how to make a proper fist and how to make a proper stance, and that's all well and good. But here's the thing. One of the things I teach, and if there's one thing that you walk away from my videos with when it comes to boxing or fighting in general, it's hands up. Keep your hands by your head. And you want to keep your hands relatively high, temples or cheekbones. And the reason why you keep yourself at your temples or your cheekbones is because when you get tired, your hands will drop. You will not have the energy to keep your hands up forever. So if you train with your hands by your temples, they will drop to your cheekbones when you get tired. If you train with your hands at your cheekbones, they will drop to your chin when you get tired. Those are fine because no matter what, you are still protecting your face. Even if they're at your chin, you can bring them up slightly to protect the areas that aren't really covered. It's fine. It's really personal preference where you decide to put your hands. However, if you train with your hands at your chin, they will drop to your chest when you get tired, leaving your head completely exposed. And if you are like Jesse here, the way he is now, and I know you can't really see him, let's see if I can bring it back here. Hold on.
The fitness industry, YouTube. No, I don't. There's definitely a lot of people that can kick my ass, but I'll try.
Left, right, nice.
Right,
Straight. And
right there. See? His hands are at his chest. If you train with your hands there, when you get tired, they will drop to your waist. And I've seen it happen with fighters. And when that happens, because that's an inevitability, your hands will drop, you will get tired. They get punched a lot. They get hurt. And you know what happens when you get hit? You get more tired, and it gets harder for you to keep your hands up. It's a vicious cycle and that you do not want to find yourself stuck in. So, one of the first things I can say as a trainer myself, and something that I would recommend if I was in the position of his trainer, would be get your hands up. He threw a jab cross. I didn't see his feet or his hips or anything, but the first thing that I noticed is get your hands up. That is important. Defense is important. Jesse's a handsome dude. He's not like me. He's not like he can afford to take 8 shots to the face and probably come out looking better. Jesse, you want to look good? I know you do. Please, protect that handsome face and keep those hands up. You don't want to look like this, all right? Like, you are looking at what happens when you don't.
You used to be a boxer just like me?
Yup, they called me Kid Gorgeous. Later on, it was Kid Presentable. Then Kid Gruesome. And finally, Kid Mo.
I had to learn the hard way. Take it from me, Jesse. Stay safe. You talk about practice safe sets? Keep your hands up. Keep your hands up. You talk about protection. That's the best. Your protection's terrible. I feel sorry for Noel. I have no idea if that joke's gonna make it into the video.
you're gonna slip my jab, so on this way, yep, and then cross. And boom, slip. That was much better.
Hey, what up, baby?
His slipping's okay. It's not terrible. He needs to step with it a little bit more, and the problem is he's not shifting his weight. Slipping comes with shifting the weight. The way you slip in boxing is very similar to the way you throw certain punches. I'm not really going to go too much into it because I do actually plan to make a whole video on how to do it. But it's not terrible per se, but it's not great either. He's very stiff. He's standing up like this. You want to be very relaxed when you fight. The more stiff you are, the more energy you waste.
Starting to get a little better right there.
Again, he's not terrible. He like, for a beginner, he's okay. I think it's very clear that the person that is training him isn't really training him to fight, because obviously this is just a one-off video, and he's just kind of, they want some footage for hand pads and stuff like that. It is my best guess. So he's not focused too hard on correcting form and stuff like that, but Jesse's punches have absolutely zero power behind them. And the reason why I can tell is because he doesn't have his hips behind it. Normally when you punch, you twist your body, and the whole punch starts from your legs. They start from your feet, you twist your feet, which makes your legs move, which twists your hips, which brings it up to your shoulder, and then out and extends through your arm. Jesse isn't really doing any of that. He's mainly throwing from the shoulders and the waist, not really engaging his legs. So His punches are lacking the power that they could have. He's a strong guy, way stronger than me. But I'm pretty sure his punches wouldn't hurt me, or wouldn't hurt really anyone that knew how to throw or knew how to take a punch. However, if he actually learned how to put his body weight behind his punch, I'm sure he could have devastating power.
Stepping out.
That is really good. That's really good. That's good advice. Because what they don't go in depth, obviously, but what the trainer was telling him there was to take a step and to practically squat as you move and as you slip punches, and that is good. You do not want to bend at the waist. You don't want to come down like this, because you're basically asking for an uppercut. And that when you bend at the waist like this and you receive an uppercut, the force is doubled. It's the difference between this and this. No sound. Okay, it's the difference between this and this. There we go. Difference between this and this. I really hope the sound picked that up. Anyway, I'm not doing it one more time. Difference between this. Yeah, difference between this and this. Hear the difference? There we go. Finally did it. Okay, so yeah, you do not want to bend at the waist. That is very dangerous. So what his trainer is doing is really good there. You want to stay pretty much upright in your stance and bend with your knees and your hips, shifting your weight as you move. Good. That's really good. And I haven't seen Jesse do it yet, but I assume that he'll get it. Let's see. Yeah, just like that. That is perfect. And you notice, first of all, don't get excited. That's a big thing new people do, is like they leave their punch out, or they get excited when they do something right. That's going to get you hurt. You don't throw a cross and go, damn, yeah, that's a real nice cross. Right? That's what happens. And I've seen people do that in sparring, where they land a good shot, they take a millisecond to admire it, and then they get fucking clocked in the side of the head and they're out for the count. Because, again, boxing's a game of seconds. Every millisecond you spend not defending or attacking could be your downfall. It's why you never take your eyes off your opponent, you never look away, and all this other stuff. You learn to multitask while always focusing on what your opponent is doing. I understand, again, this is for the video, and he's all excited, but I wouldn't celebrate too hard just yet. It would be like, okay, good, back in your stance, we're doing this again. Boom, 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 right? Now, the way he did it was good. And one thing I want to draw attention to is how low he ducked. He didn't duck super low, which is good. It's really good. He's still new. But I want to highlight that he didn't even really have to duck that low. You only have to duck just enough for the punch to miss you. Just like when you slip, you don't have to actually get all the way out of the range of the punch. I've had punches graze my face as I slipped by them, because the punch doesn't have to miss you by a lot, it just has to miss you. So any extra movement you do, if instead of doing this and having it graze me, I do this, that's a massive waste of energy. You want to conserve as much energy as possible and use that to help you further fight your opponent. Every bit of energy matters. Every bit of energy counts. You can't afford to be wasting it. You want to be efficient with your energy. But for a beginner, that was really good. It was really good. Good job, Jesse.
You're feeling good right here, baby.
Left hook.
You should be.
Right cross. Left hook. A lot of hips in this.
Yeah, a lot of hips in that. And he put none of it. He's putting none of it. That is a combination that uses a lot of hips and a lot of turning, and Jesse's doing none of it. Again, he's a beginner, and a lot of these concepts are rather advanced. I'm sure, like, from the looks of things, he's only had... Because I remember he's done a few videos, and again, he trained with this guy with the Conor McGregor video, but as far as I know, he's only had a couple classes with this guy. This is really advanced. I wouldn't be having him do a lot of this stuff just yet. I'd teach him it, and I'd have him be doing drills with it. But again, he needs to film a video, so this is my critique. And, you know, kudos to him, though. He is doing fairly well for a beginner. Hands up, man, hands up. Hands up, hands up. Boom, there goes your chin.
Ninja right here.
You're not a ninja, you're a boxer.
You think single mom?
Okay, elbows in, hands up. That's a big thing. You don't want to do that. We call this chicken winging it. Why? Because you're flapping your arms out like a chicken wing. No, you want to keep your elbows in and your hands up. The reason why we do this, where would you punch me? Like, if you saw this, where would you punch me? I really hope that you said here, because I'm practically giving it to you. keep your elbows in. Again, I as a fellow coach, I know that sometimes you don't really need to prioritize form. If someone comes in and says, I don't really care about doing well, I just want to sweat, sometimes you let stuff like that slide and you just let them go ham on the bag, right? Like when I used to teach boxer-size classes, I would correct that sort of stuff, but I wouldn't go too hard on it if the person didn't really want to learn the specific boxing techniques. If they just said, listen, I want to know enough to hit the bag without hurting myself and sweat and get a good workout in, if you can do that for me, that's fine. Then I wouldn't really correct stuff like that. I'd just like, oh, keep your elbows in a little bit, but it wouldn't be the be-all, end-all, and I assume that's what's happening here. But I'm looking at this from the perspective of someone who is teaching someone who wants to step into the ring. So keep that in mind. I know Jesse probably will never step into the ring and has no desire to step into the ring, but all of that considered, I still think it's important to let people know the true basics and the foundation of everything that comes with boxing. You don't just step into a gym and suddenly start doing hand pads and get good. There's a lot of monotonous, boring training that comes to the point where you get everything down to muscle memory, to the point where you don't have to think about things like elbows in, chin down, hands up. But again, for what it's worth, Jesse's doing actually pretty decent.
Boxing, MMA, and a little bit of Joe.
That's me.
Alright, so we're
Ashtano Joe?
gonna do, how is it gonna go down? Like 10
So in
seconds?
10 seconds of volume, not a lot of power, and then 10 seconds of not a lot of punches, but sitting down on the punches and throwing out.
Ooh, 10 seconds on, 10 seconds off. That'll be fun. That's a fun drill. A lot of people really have trouble pacing themselves with stuff like that, because you're usually supposed to go all out hard for 10 seconds. It's meant to simulate the end of a boxing match where you have, or like a boxing round where you have 10 seconds left in the round. You're really trying to push and give her and, you know, show the judges who's the dominant fighter in that round. So we'll see how he does for 10 seconds on, 10 seconds off.
We're gonna let him show you how to do it first.
Ooh, I get to critique the coach now. Let's see. Let's go.
Flurrying, going nice and light.
Ooh, he's a southpaw.
Later, power into my shots.
Okay, so this is not...
And add in a little kicks. Holy
Okay, so he's obviously a kickboxer. I'm not going to critique the kicks. I could. I'm not just an Olympic style boxer. I've also done karate, sikaran, which is Filipino foot fighting, Muay Thai. But for the past few years, I've been delving into really hard Olympic style boxing, and that's what I want my channel to be about. So I'm not going to critique his kicks. He's a southpaw, which is interesting. For those of you that don't know, southpaws are people who are left-handed. They fight like this, whereas an orthodox fighter, someone who's right-handed, would fight like this. Reason for it being is you always want your power hand to be your backhand. There are exceptions to the rule. My father was a left-handed fighter, and he actually fought in an orthodox stance. There are people who can switch back and forth. So, you know, not a hard rule, but it's still interesting enough. He seems like he definitely knows what he's doing. But this is not 10 seconds on, 10 seconds off. This is, I'm not sure what this is. It's just kind of hitting the bag light for 10 seconds and then going heavy for 10 seconds. 10 seconds on, 10 seconds off is a lot more intense than that. And you'll probably see it somewhere a little bit later on down the line with me. So, you know, be on the lookout for that, but that'll be relatively later.
Holy shit! Not okay. I do not want to be on the other end of that.
Come on. Hands up. Hands up, man. Come on. You're bringing your hand... Okay, Jesse does another thing that I call choo-choo training it. And it's where you don't bring your hands back to your face in a straight line. You do this. You throw your jab out. That was a bad jab. That was a terrible jab. You throw your jab out, and then as you're bringing back your jab, instead of bringing it straight back to your face when you throw your cross like this, you bring it back in a loop. You bring it down to your waist and then back up to your head. And the reason why we call that a choo-choo train is because you're chugging along like a choo-choo train. Now, the reason why you don't want to do that, I hope, is relatively obvious. You bring your hand out, and then boom, you get countered. It's why I never really understood martial arts that have your hands here and punch like this. They say it's to train speed, but I never truly understood it myself. I think you can train perfect speed with your hands up, firing them back like this. But again, I see Jesse, I see this video as, again, the guy that kind of just wants to show up and get a sweat on. I don't really see Jesse going into boxing seriously in the future. But hey, man, if you do, please call me. Like, hit me up. I'll teach you everything you need to know about boxing. I know you already have a coach. I know. But I would really like to coach the vast majority of the anabolic community at least once. So Jesse, please, if somehow you come across this video, call me.
Woman's getting harassed at a grocery store. You approach him, you're like, what are you doing, bud? Oh, that hurt my elbow so bad.
Yeah, see, that's why you don't do stuff you don't know how to do. But on top of that, I do want to bring attention to something here. This is called cocking your punch. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do this. The reason for it being, if you have no idea how to fight, what punch do you think I'm going to throw? Like, really, what punch? You want to throw, you want to telegraph it as little as possible. And there is ways to minimize that and hide it, but you will always telegraph your punch to a certain extent. But you want to have it a straight line from your face out. Back it straight in, straight out. And the reason why is so you don't telegraph it like that. Again, I know he was fooling around. I know he was joking around. But a teachable moment is a teachable moment, and I'm going to take it.
Workout is complete.
Also, that fucking hurts. Overextending your elbow, it hurts like a bitch. I've done it in fights where I've just thrown my elbow out too far and it just took, and it hurt a lot. I did it at the Nationals, and oh man, did it hurt. It can paralyze your arm. It hurts a lot. It's like getting punched in the bicep. If any of you have ever been punched in the bicep or overextended your arm, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It hurts like crazy, and you don't really feel it too bad with the adrenaline, but once the adrenaline wears off, your whole arm becomes sore. I remember back at the Nationals, I won the fight and I had to fight the next day. So I spent like the next couple hours just sitting in the hot tub, sitting in a hot bath or with Epsom salts or something, trying to relax the muscles in that arm so that I could, you know, still be relatively okay when I fought the next day. You shouldn't do too much permanent damage, but that's something that you need to be careful of, is overextending elbows. Obviously, he did it because he did a spinning back fist wrong, which is something you don't do in boxing anyway, but extended elbows is a risk factor involved with boxing.
That was dope. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Miller Brothers. Make sure you guys check out this place. Super awesome place.
Check him out. Video will be linked in description.
A ring that Jesse gets his ass kicked in at least once a month. And
really, Jesse gets his ass kicked in that ring at least once a month. Once this whole situation outside is sorted, Jesse, please, I'd love to, I don't know, whatever you want. You want to get taught by me? You want to get your ass kicked by me? You want to spar? We'll work something out. But please, I'd love to step into the ring with you for a little bit. I think it'd be a good time. I really do. So again, call me.
some good people.
See you guys later.
As far as I know, that is it for the boxing training. I'm going to turn off the camera now and just make sure that that's it for the video. If there's anything, I'll turn on the camera and come back and speak to you guys. Otherwise, I'm not dead yet, and if you aren't either, there's always a tomorrow waiting for you.